pull off on my email and get upgraded power tools. That way, whatever tools we have here, we can
Just use however.
volunteer show up, but the guys that bring their tools, we're gonna tackle that this one.
Okay, great.
There's 4 or 5 guys there, and we can knock it out.
That'll be quick.
Then once that's moved, we can just move to another section. And
Okay.
if it takes all 4 hours,
Yeah.
it takes all 4 hours.
Right.
And then the other projects that show up can do.
Some of the
right
others.
now?
Yeah.
And then in the spring, we can do another one with the valve. That way we can tackle another section, zone, and that way, one thing at a
One
time.
thing at a time, yes, but if we get enough and if we zip through, because like once you came to the power tools, it didn't take any time. It was like zing, zing, done, okay, next activity.
I don't know how many guys are showing up. 2 guys show up, that's gonna take all day. But if 4 guys show up, that's gonna take no time. And that's something. All the other guys tackle one thing, and if we finish that thing, we move to something else.
Absolutely, absolutely, that
You know
sounds
what
great.
What about me? We have show up besides the guys in the power tools.
Can do some editing, because we do want to kind of fresh out a little bit, because the program is gonna be on the Monday, but then hopefully we'll have some others.
If they have no questions,
Is it?
that's why they're on the table.
No,
It's gonna be for whomever would like to come, okay?
Yeah.
Cause hopefully what we're thinking is we get power tools and stuff, maybe we don't need it.
well, they can come, that's what I'm saying, they can do other things.
Some other things,
Yes,
okay.
we can do a volunteer
I have this
deal on the
proposed.
website, on the Facebook page.
Okay,
And that's all one at a time, so I can start.
go ahead and put it out there.
Put it out there, and then the volunteer list will, we'll put out 2 to 4 people sign up
Yeah,
for it.
cause
That way,
it's coming after you.
yes.
It'll be, cause everything.
No, that's the worst part, Brandy. Ear knows, yeah. That way it's a little confusing. I'm trying to look to see where it stands and I won't be in it. That doesn't matter anymore. You're gonna move it.
What sounds good is it's close to we'll talk some more.
Yeah.
Doesn't have music.
You can turn it off, that's just, I should have explained, they're asking us to play this every PTC meeting, so that's why it's been running.
Okay.
But it's not done, not a complete cycle yet. Do I need to wait until it finishes?
You sure?
Yeah, I just started it.
Oh.
But it's only 3 minutes.
I think it's fine, I don't know anything else.
We can finish it here.
Just let it play in the background.
Okay, sounds good. Welcome everybody to our October PTC meeting. I need to look at the time. It is 6:01, Jen. We're gonna start with an approval of September's minutes. They are on your tables.
I have a quick comment. I thought a parent brought up, is that something that we document? I saw that it's certain.
Wait, say that again?
I did
Matt-
not type that out. The
Matt
parental
Bleacher
concern.
just mentioned a concern, and I just think it was important to maybe report on parent concerns, just so we have a record of it throughout the year, and it might be something worth, looking back at.
Okay, I'll do an addendum to my notes and add that in.
Okay.
We generally haven't done like the after administration questions as part of the minutes ever.
And
But
so
we
then
can't-
there's
so that
not
was-
ever a written
Yeah, do
record.
some
Right.
basic Q
So,
and A,
like,
but I don't, it
yeah.
was a long drawn out, which is why I didn't.
And I don't think we should record everything that's said, but just like parent raised
Yeah.
question about PBIS, and the follow-up was that Tara Giorgio was gonna take it to her group and consider it. Just something simple is my
Go ahead and add
recommendation.
that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, can I get a motion?
I move to approve with the addendum to be added.
Second by Lauren, yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the treasurer's report from Adele.
Alright, we have completed all transfers to the teacher accounts, and that leaves our general fund currently at $24,146.65. Our PTC membership stands at $5,394, which is up from last year. Last year we were at $3,748, so I think that's a pretty great increase. And I'm assuming that's pretty much attributable to the membership incentives that were instituted this year. PTC popcorn is at $5,532.05, and that's also up from last year where we ended at $4,161. Symposium t-shirts, between income and expenses, it looks like we're totaled out there, and we made a profit of $1,104.96, and that seems to be more or less in line with last year. And we are encouraging teachers, please get your grade level allocation requests in. First grade did theirs. I haven't seen any other ones yet. So we can make sure to get those expenses on the books. And we're working on plans to spend the rest of our budgeted money for the year. That's it.
Okay. We'll move on to some old business. Let's talk about symposium. Miss Brandy, thank you for your hard work. Out of this world symposium.
So symposium totally blew my mind. I think it does every year, but especially this year. I've had a hard time, even still days later, like thinking about it without getting choked up and just being so excited. All of the people who came out, so LA Source, CGI, Lords, Big Boy Toys, Pixis gave us a tent, the planetarium set up the solar system, the Lafayette Mini Maker Fair, Home Bank, the Mercado and Wallace families, Van Eaton and Romero, Smith Mason and Company, Black Cafe, Roly Poly sandwiches. There were so many people involved that we could be here for hours if I thanked every single individual volunteer who helped from home with the decorations, the day of. I'm still speechless, and
She got in 2 newspapers.
I did. Yeah, we were in 2 newspapers. It was very exciting. I sent them to my mom. And yeah, just thank you everybody who came, who helped. Every little piece means something big to me, and this is always my favorite event every year because of how much it really is just for the kids and for no other reason except that we love them and we want to give them something cool. And I really am touched by how many people were involved this year in that part of it. So thanks.
Thank you.
We had to attack those bristle bots as soon as we got them home.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
My child left his on the table, so you know,
Oh, no.
it's okay. Appreciation Committee. Rochelle is not here, but that is the first thing that we're going to do for that is coming up next week for Teacher Appreciation, and we're going to do a table of snacks. I think she has shared a time to sign up already via our Facebook page and in the individual grade level groups. So look for that. If you don't have it, we will be happy to email it. If you're not on Facebook, let us know. We'll get that to you. Things like muffins and water and just snacks that the teachers can grab because it's a long day for them from 11 to 7 with probably not much of a break in between. So that's just our way to thank them with a little bit of some snacks. Along those lines, she mentioned, and this is not on the agenda, but room parents, she's helping with that as well. We've gotten the majority of our teachers with a room parent. We still have a few needs. Miss Bajon, Miss Green, Miss Derwent, Miss Baggett, Miss Rogers, and Miss LeBlanc. So if anyone wants to step up with that, we would appreciate it, but we do appreciate those parents who have stepped in the last couple of weeks and trying to fill those voids. So we'll move on to some new business now. It's time to read info@woodvalleptc.org with any questions, and we will get back to you before the next meeting so you can vote on. Yeah?
Leave it to me, guys. I wanted to change something about the elections. I don't love that it's a secret who's running. I feel like it's important to maybe know who's interested in being president. One thing that happened to me 2 years ago is I was told nobody was running for treasurer, so they needed a treasurer. I show up at the meeting to stand up and talk about myself, and there's an amazing, much more qualified treasurer there.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't. So it's like a big secret, and everybody's like, I can't tell you who's running. So I just wonder, why is it a secret?
Is it even listed in the bylaws that it is a secret? Because I don't.
It's secret. It's very strange.
Why
Well,
not
I
just
know
put it out there a
until
month
everyone
before
has
and just let
asked and
people know who's
responded, we
running?
can't say. But after everyone's responded and said, yes, I would like to run.
It seems like it should
I
be.
think
Yeah, I
it
get it
is.
if people are so
And we
considering.
always say something
Yeah,
at
you don't
least
wanna
the
out
meeting
people who don't
before
wanna run,
to
right?
vote on for the
Yeah.
following meeting.
It hasn't been announced a meeting ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be my recommendation, if we could add that to the bylaws, if it's voted on, just the month before, or if that's too big of a gap, maybe at least just
I
posting
think
it
the way it
online
stands
2 weeks
now, and y'all
before.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the April meeting is where we vote. The March meeting is when nominations. So I don't think, as it's written now, I don't think there's a meeting in between, if that makes sense, to like have nominations in February, announce who's running in March, but still have time. So we'll have to talk it out and figure out a better way.
Okay,
I think it's
let me
actually-
read how
Okay.
it's written. Nominations shall be given to the committee after the 1st of February and in no less than 10 days before the March meeting. Officers' positions shall be submitted at the March meeting. So they're announced at the March meeting by the nominating committee.
But there is-
Additional nominations may also be made,
Okay.
providing consent has been obtained.
I think that it just
When
wasn't
it's
done that way
voted
last
April?
year.
April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think it would just add some, well, I guess you can't add momentum by knowing who's running, right? Like if somebody's like, oh, we've got this dynamic president, but we're missing 2 officers, it might encourage people to run. If they're like, oh yeah.
Or
yeah,
that might make them think it's okay. They don't need us. No.
But, you know, just to be transparent about it.
No, yeah. Well, so I just think that perhaps last year it just wasn't done the way it should have been done in timely, the timing fashion. So, yeah, that's a good concern. Yes.
Did we define what a member is? Because last meeting they said a member is just one family. So
Yes, that I think is highlighted.
That is addressed.
Yes.
And it's
the word member is defined because last time they said a family only gets 1 vote. So it's like
I think that
Does
has been
your-
changed, correct, Jennifer?
Each
That was
member
something
shall
we-
have 1 vote.
Each member.
Should have
It's
1 vote.
so I don't know if
when
it's
you fill out
specified.
the form
That's correct.
is when the question
The
is.
way you fill out the form is how we
so
determine a member.
my husband would need to fill out
No.
one and I would need to
No.
fill
No,
out
if you
one,
list
so we
both
can
names
If you
vote.
on
list
that
both
form.
names, then you're each
Yes.
technically
Yeah,
a member.
That's how we've
But
recorded
if
it
the
this
wife
year.
does and doesn't put the husband's name, then only the wife is a member.
Right.
You have to state both names.
So we need to
on
let
the
our students
form.
know that if they come from, one or their parents are divorced, each parent needs to fill it out for that one child.
Or one of them could fill it out and just list both
Both
of their
as
names.
both
It
parents.
doesn't.
Okay,
but-
but I'm just saying on that form we should make it
Right.
clear.
Right.
So they don't get to a meeting and can't vote.
Okay. Very good. So we have coming up next. Well, it's not next, but our next beautification day is scheduled for November 9th. It is the Saturday before our patriotic ceremony. And Kyle is going to give us a little bit of an update on that
It's not much.
and plan.
We decided on a time from 8 to 12. I've been working with Ms. Bollinger. We have 3 or 4 guys coming. I don't know yet exactly. I'm gonna send out an email to the guys what tools to bring and what we need.
We'll do a time to sign up as well.
And that we're gonna post the times from 8 to 12 on the Facebook. And that's it.
Yeah.
But it is open to others, not
Yes,
just
yes,
Yeah,
it's,
okay.
it's all volunteer, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a,
And then like right now, there's a big pile of dead branches by the bike racks. So is that something that the beautification committee should do? Is that part of our custodian job? Is it a work order we can get with the parish? I'm just wondering, just regular maintenance.
That's
That's
a
from
work
the
order,
tree that was
and
cut.
that's from the tree.
Yeah, that's from the
Thank
tree
you,
that-
Kyle, that I called and said, please bring that right now. Let's cut down this tree when the gate was not down.
95% sure Mr. Daniel did put in a work order.
Yes,
for
I
that,
think
but
we
I
have,
haven't
but
asked.
sometimes you have to double check.
In fact, he had
I
me,
was just curious.
I know he
how
did,
it works.
because he had me, send a second email to that person, so I went on that work order, and I sent the person an email and said, this bill hasn't been taken care of, can you let us know, and he said, he replied about who was supposed to haul it away, but I'm kinda of the thought that if it's not hauled away and y'all have the trailer to do it and somewhere to bring it, go for it.
Okay.
But we did put in the work order.
Okay, thanks.
Along those notes, to get beautified for that Monday is the patriotic ceremony, and so I think Ms. Bollinger has a few.
Yeah, just a few
Things to
words,
say?
just to say, patriotic on Monday, November the 11th. It will be actually on Veterans Day this year. That's why we went on and did it on the Monday. And last year, due to our weather, the program ended up getting bumped back to 1 o'clock. And we liked that. So it's going to be at 1. Again, this year, the grass was dry for the children. It worked out nice. So that's the plan, to try it in the afternoon again this year. So it will be 1 o'clock on the 11th. We'll be getting the papers copied and sent out probably in another week or so. We don't like to send them out too early because then folks forget about them. So usually about 2 weeks before. The paper for our heroes will go home, and we will be doing, my partner here does some of the decorating. And we hadn't really talked about that, and the coffee and bread. Well, now that will change though, being that it's 1.
Oh, that's true.
So
Okay.
we may talk a little bit about that, but I know with some of the decorating, I don't know if we'll do that on the Sunday or if we want to try to get those things up on the Saturday when folks are here working.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit more about
Yeah.
that, but we usually look for some folks to help with the decorating, setting out some of the pretty things outside, as we get prepared. So it's always a beautiful and heartwarming program. So hope all of you all can join us.
I think Miss Wiltz's choir is going to sing,
Yes.
which is going to be very nice.
It'll be their first performance.
Yeah, all the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts should come in uniform, and it's a very special day. Anything else about that? Okay, so part of our budget this year is a new item that we've added for teacher professional development. The idea was that we have $2,000 allocated in that account, and when we set it up, the plan was to have teachers request through a donorschoose.com account for assistance to go to conferences, whether it be local, out of state, whatever it may be. It would all go through Ms. Vidos to be approved, and then the deadline for that would be December 15th, and then PTC would be able to allocate $100 per teacher who requested, and then any funds left over from that would go to a school-wide professional development, maybe a speaker come to school on a in-service day or something of that nature. We have had an idea come to us recently by Ms. Mercado and Ms. Wallace, and so I'm going to give her the opportunity to share her idea.
Okay, so we first of all love that this money is allocated. It's definitely something that my co-teacher and I are passionate about, is professional development. So this past weekend we went to Luling, it's right outside of New Orleans, to see Jerry Brooks speak. And he is a principal in Kentucky, but he does the funny YouTube videos. You might have seen him in his car about the smelling markers. There's like hundreds of them. But he's a principal, and he speaks to inspire teachers, and it was really motivational. So we loved it, and he said that he was going to come back in the spring. So then we were just thinking about the idea, what if we got Woodvale teachers together and use that money to pay for tickets and possibly even a bus to give us a fun day off. It's on a Saturday. So like a kind of like staff development fun day. So that's our idea. We think it would be worth it.
You said the tickets are just $20.
Yeah,
That was
so
very reasonable.
a very big impact because the tickets are so cheap. So
New Orleans? New Orleans, yeah.
Did you all, at your faculty meeting today, did y'all discuss that?
We did not. We had some other things that we needed to
Okay.
discuss, and I really, forgot to talk to him about that. So I guess we can,
I've kind of been mentioning it though, and a lot of people were interested. So he doesn't have a date yet, so I kind of want to wait and see when the date would be before we but I know we have interest. So, what do y'all?
I mean, given we have $2,000 for it, we have enough, I'm sure, to cover the entry fee for those interested and perhaps use the rest towards transportation of some sort. I've looked into that a little bit. Not sure. I don't have dates, so no one will give me a quote just yet.
Right.
But you know, we could at least try to help y'all with that.
That'd be
So
awesome.
that would be
yeah,
great.
I like the idea too. I think it's great. It hits a lot of people. It's local or semi-local. So hopefully we can get some teachers on board with that.
Like $100 is not a lot for professional development. So like, is there more money that could be put in that fund, or in the future, or?
Okay, well, I think they were just kind of like, we wanted the teachers to do some work, so writing the grant for teachers pay, for donors choose would be there, and then they would get the rest of the donations from, people, donors choose.
Yeah.
And so that was just,
So,
let's give them something,
And this
let's
is our
reward
first
them for
year,
at
so
least
we're
making
kind of
an
Yeah, this is
Totally now.
very new for us,
The
so we
interest
don't
and,
know what kind of interest. And as of now, no teacher has submitted anything like that.
Samantha Weber is going to where?
Ron Clark.
Ron Clark. And she had already submitted all that stuff before all this
Yeah.
came about. So I don't know if that's something that we can look at, maybe trying to give her some money towards that, cause she already got it funded and,
Yes.
a lot of it's coming out of her own pocket, I think.
Right.
Just a thought, cause I know that's one teacher that did.
It was right at
Yeah.
This all happened right after she got all of her
All of her
stuff
stuff together.
together for that.
So I don't
Yeah.
know if, that's a possibility, but.
So we'll have more answers later with when he's coming, if it fits with what's going on around school and stuff like that.
No, just because they haven't gone
Yeah, they
themselves.
can.
So we
It's
just thinking if we
Yeah.
could, if there was
More
extra
of an
money
incentive
still.
to go,
Private drivers tend to be expensive, but I would hate to miss out on more teachers
We could
because
get
we
them
got
a private
all of
driver.
them.
No, the goal would be to get everybody who wants to go a ticket,
Right.
and see what we are looking at.
And then see how it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the $100 allocation that originally was the plan would probably cover their $20 ticket. It would almost be the same, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
So thank y'all for being open to it.
Yeah.
We'll see as it comes along.
Okay. So that's all we have. I think. I'm sorry. Nope. There is one more that is not on here. Membership. Adele talked a little bit about the tiered membership and the benefits of those. And the sign and the magnet and the tumblers. Those are almost ready. I think I'm going to be able to pick them up either Friday or Monday of next week. And the plan was always to distribute them on Parent-Teacher Conference. So we're in good timing. When you come on Parent-Teacher Conference, hopefully you'll have your sign and your tumbler and your magnet or whatever your membership allocated for you in your teacher's classroom or somewhere. So that's the plan for that. That is it for PTC information. We can take any questions or anything PTC related, and we can move on to administration. Okay. So next on the calendar is Boo Bash next Wednesday, and also Synergy Assembly that day. It's going to be a very busy day.
It is gonna be a busy day, and then the day before rather, is PBIS store that these kids will get to shop to use their coupons that they've been keeping all this 9 weeks to be able to go shop for higher dollar items. It's their leader bucks, yes. And that's gonna be held during PE the day before Synergy Assembly and Blue Bash. And then, of course, Synergy Assembly is always in the morning. This year we have to do it out in the front because of the construction. So it'll be a little different this year, but that'll be in the morning, and then Blue Bash scheduled times through the day for each grade level to go out.
So Boo Bash for new parents is kind of our, I guess, Halloween type party. Kids can wear costumes with restrictions, and that will all go home in information from the teachers. Okay, perfect. Haven't checked the folder today. Yeah, so they can wear their little costumes and stuff, and we are collecting candy for that. So there's I saw the bin in the office. I think we're good on bags. Yes, Brandy?
So we have the bags already, enough bags for each kid to have one, and then they just, you know, can fill it with their candy. No nuts, of course. I think that non-melting candy is the best, you know, because chocolate is usually not the best choice. Little trinkets I think are welcome too, but they love it. Let's see, and Synergy Assembly is just for new parents. You want to just explain what the end of the 9 weeks?
We celebrate our, it's part of Leader in Me, and being a Leader in Me school, and we celebrate our school-wide WIGs, our goals. And we celebrate just accomplishments of behavior, reading, and math goals.
And there's usually a performance or two.
Yeah. It's kind of like a very mini pep rally.
Do y'all send that information home, like the description of it?
We can, yeah.
It's probably in our FAQs.
Wildly important goals.
Miss Vitos, it's in our FAQ page. The synergy. What is Synergy Assembly?
Okay, that's how we had, I know we had put it somewhere, but couldn't
Yep.
remember where.
The end of the 9 weeks is Thursday.
Yes.
This Thursday. So that's not on here as well.
The end of the 9 weeks is Thursday, and the new 9 weeks begins
yes.
Friday.
So AR tests are wrapping up. Send in community labels, box tops, because they reward them after a 9 week period. They'll get a reward. Jennifer's got some stuff already ready to send home for honor roll, homework club,
Honor roll,
perfect attendance,
honor roll, principals list, and homework club.
So there's 4 different categories. So you may see something like Sonic is a real popular one, the free ice cream cone or free
Panera
slush.
Bread this
Oh, we
year,
got
too.
a lot of Panera Bread kids meal. That was really new and exciting. So those little things, it's good little incentives that come home with their report card. And you'll get your kids' report card at parent-teacher conference. So also next week on the 23rd, as if it, you know, don't have enough going on, but we will have Jason's Deli Spirit Night, which, thank you, Ms. Tassan, for setting that up. I think we get 15%. So that's exciting. We won't have to cook.
5 to 10.
Should we do costumes?
I mean,
More opportunities to wear a costume.
I'm sure they won't turn you away if you wear a costume.
Yeah, no. They won't.
Are we doing free dress again for that?
Yes, like
Okay.
for attendance. The next day is parent-teacher conference day, and then the in-service on Friday, so we wanted to push it back to the fall week, so we'll
Okay.
figure out when they'll.
Yeah, so there is no school the 24th
That's correct.
and
Yeah.
25th.
Yeah,
That's
no.
correct.
So that's a little fall break for us. 24th and 25th.
You can stay out a little later at Jason's
That's
Deli and it
right.
won't hurt you.
That's right. No bedtime on the 23rd.
And again, on parent-teacher conference day, students will be receiving report, parents will be receiving.
Sure, that's true. You'll never next door to each other, sit at home and just keep late.
I made a little sheet, like save the dates for all the 4 different
Oh, yeah,
nights,
okay.
or it's 5 different nights throughout the year. So I just need to make sure with Deb that that's been sent out. If not, we'll get it sent out.
No, not yet. We can do that.
That'll get a place of honor on the side of the fridge.
Yes.
And it'll be posted all over Facebook, so you won't miss it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, and I think the last thing is an update on the fall fundraiser. Miss Vidos has some
Yes.
figures for us. Very exciting.
We do, and total as of right now that we have collected is $43,739, plus online is not even included in this amount.
No,
right
40.
now.
That is the online.
Oh,
that
for
is
the
total.
online.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
sorry. Now, of course, we have to pay out some things, and then we also pay back, you know, the company who puts on the fundraiser for us. But I'm thinking that, I think last year, when we, at this time, we were about 28,000 total.
Yes.
So again, our profit last year was about 11 or 12,000, I think, by the time we paid out some of our, incentive rewards. So I'm thinking with this figure right now, you know,
We should be at 20 or.
yeah, that would be really, really
Yeah,
nice.
that would be amazing.
So again, thank y'all to everyone, who participated and assisted with this fundraiser, and especially thank you to the moms who assisted with all the counting money.
Danielle, thank you. Laura.
It was a lot, I think it went on for a few days.
3 days.
Had to be a lot.
And then someone turned one in today, just so y'all know.
Everybody's spare change in it.
What is the money
So, everything. I mean, this is just kind of what goes into our general money to help us with offsetting all expenses that we don't get funding for from the school board level. So we put everything, you know, in this, it just goes back into all aspects of the school, technology, materials, teachers, and just, yes.
Playground. Is that where we?
No, that's not where we got playground. That was from matching funds and PTC funds. So, anyway, thank y'all for the fundraiser. And then what's next?
That's all I've got. I mean, any question? I feel like it's been quick, but that's what we've got between now and next meeting. So, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I've been talking to other parents, not just at Woodville, but other schools, about the new curriculum and even some of the teachers. And I know it's been a real challenge for teachers and students and parents. And I was just hoping we could maybe brainstorm really fast. I don't want to keep anybody, you know, overtime or anything. But it's been a real lack of information as a parent of third grade, and I don't know anything that he studied in science. I heard weather, and I don't know which part of weather. I don't know any books he's read in English and language, so can we not, surely the teacher knows the book, so can we get a list of what's being read? There is an amazing person in this room, Miss Richard, and just every week, every Sunday, we get, hey, at the end of this week, they're going to know how to add these things, make these number sentences. They're going to work on I before E or whatever it is, and we know every single subject. So I'm wondering, I know it's a lot for one teacher but since I've heard all third grade, for instance, science and social studies, gifted and regular, are all the same curriculum. So could it just be a tag team, like one of the teachers takes next week, and they send out the note to the parent? Like Miss McElroy last year for second grade, I knew on Monday I got a sheet home and it said, this is what we're reading. We're studying China. They're going to know about cuisine and animals or whatever. And and also with these tests, since there's no textbooks and they can't study at home, why can't we have a practice test? So there was one today where he's been a straight A student and he's been making F's. And it was, I guess just as a parent, how do I help him? Right. And so succeed. And one of them was, okay, you make a leap. Harry makes a leap. What are the two words for meanings for make a leap? Well, he got the literal version, but not like advanced. So is there not an example that could be sent home that says, oh, we're going to be looking at two meanings for the same word this week, including make a leap or whatever. I mean, it seems like if it's on the test, and then that just gives kids at home, they can understand it instead of like nothing is sent home and then all of a sudden it's just Tuesdays and I see the F. And so I just feel a little bit helpless, and I don't think I'm an over-controlling helicopter parent, but I am concerned because I like to discuss what my kids are doing. And I want to help them when he's failing and crying and saying, oh my gosh, this used to be my best subject. And so what can we do about, and other parents feel the same way, and their children are making these grades. A gifted child who I know has always made 100s, and he's making a B, and he's crying and frustrated just because there's no information to study.
How can the parents engage?
And I know everybody's brainstorming because it's all brand new, so I understand it's challenging for everybody. But I just wanted to bring it up, and for the good of the group, because I know there were teachers here, and you guys here, and parents, and just what do we do about the new curriculum and information?
Is there a syllabus with the
Well, the test you're talking about was a cold read task. So they had to read chapters we never even discussed before by themselves and take that text and answer the questions. Now, with the skills like the LEAP, we covered that skill 2 weeks ago. So with the new curriculum, we're covering skills. Our one unit has 42 lessons in it. We don't finish it until next week, I believe, Friday, or what day? Wednesday. And we'll cover it maybe 3 times throughout to where it is a lot. So we may say, hey, we're covering it this week, but we're not going to use that on our cold read task until 3-4 weeks from now, to where it's, I mean, if you guys have an idea as well, I mean, we could say, I know for mine, we have a classroom website where I say, we're covering Unit 1, lesson this. You can go online and find it if you type in Louisiana guidebooks. It will show you what the lesson is covered that day, but it really is all in class. You're not getting homework. It's very in class and just repetitive
So
for
why
us.
not a practice test that could be sent home?
I feel like we would have to make that, and
Right.
kind of like under these instructions right now, where we're sticking to how the guidebooks is they want us to try it out this year. Maybe
It's the
next
first
year,
year.
that could be
Right.
something that we look over. And I know like the newsletter thing, that's a great idea, but I feel like that's teacher by teacher. Like I know Ms. Wallace and I and Naomi can speak to that. Send out an email on Mondays with what's going on
And
this
Ms.
week.
Weber and Cummins do the same
So
thing.
I would talk to your child's teacher about that, like a suggestion, and even the 3rd grade level one is a great idea, but like, we try our best to be at the same pace, but things happen, and so each teacher is different too. So I would definitely encourage you to talk to.
I've done that, and I've said, what are they learning in science? And the answer was weather.
Okay.
So that does not help me
that's
as a
different.
parent.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And as a child, and the parent of a boy, they don't come home and go, oh, let me talk about all these things I learned today.
They're like, I'm
So I just wanna know, because I like to talk, I like to be
Now, I do know
involved
that,
in this
um,
education.
I mean, we can definitely bring up the idea of an agenda or, something, given a little bit more, some vocabulary words that y'all could kind of go over and stuff like that. But, I do know that in their class, they use those, interactive notebooks. So they should be able to look at those. Are they being sent home?
No, and if they're sent home, they get a deduction in conduct.
Probably if they're left at home, I would think. Like if they take it
Yeah.
home and leave it at
Well,
home.
mine just leaves his at school, but, and part of it is my own child, he's gonna have to step it up this year in 3rd grade, I'm not saying it's all,
Okay, so let me, I can ask about the rules and procedures about the,
I mean, is
interactive
anybody,
notebook?
everybody's being quiet, am I the only one here?
I get a newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Engage, like, my 2nd grader and kindergarten are fine, but like, I'm at the next level at 5th grade, and so, I know.
Oh, and there's no
zero.
communication in middle
Yeah.
school.
No.
middle school.
Zero.
It rocked my world too, middle school did.
Nothing.
We don't get any info from, right, can't talk.
That's all, I just wanted, I thank y'all for listening, I just wanted to come early on in the year while it was fresh on my mind and just address it, cause I feel like it's, teachers are challenged with it, y'all are challenged with it, parents and kids, so just how we can maybe just going forward work.
So I'm sorry. So are you getting an agenda once
No,
a week or?
not for,
No,
not
we
for
don't
anything.
in 2nd grade.
And they're not
First
getting
grade.
any for,
It's-
they have a different block of 3rd grade teachers and neither one of us is getting
Okay, so none of the 3rd grade.
And it's not
Neither-
required. I mean, we do.
No,
Right,
it's
it's not a requirement.
But it is helpful for
It
parents.
is, yes, and that's why we started it. And like, and just side note too, like for social studies and science, I know a lot of our assessments, at least in 4th grade, I know you're 3rd, it's probably similar though, are very leap-like. So like the test, it's not so much like, here's your study guide, here's your test, right? It's a lot of, we're learning these skills in class,
And you have to
you have to
apply them.
apply it on the test. So like, a lot of it is
Nobody's
sources.
gonna help you on leave.
Look at this source, answer the question based on the source. So a lot of it boils down to reading, really,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Well, we can
comprehension.
practice that at home. I
Yes.
Reading
mean,
and using the
so
sources.
that would be, what
Yeah.
if, so what if on the Monday newsletter, or text, that not even, newsletter sounds too much, just a little bullet point that says, this week we're reading a paragraph to study the source and we're answering the questions on it. And then I feel like I could at least
Yeah.
kind of prep those.
And like
moments.
readworks.org, if you wanna write this down, is a good website for free reading passages. Like, so that you could go to there and look up a passage on weather and like practice that with your son,
Is
you
this
know?
on the school website, are there guides in the school website, like, okay, this is what 2nd grade should be looking at, this is, what the different grade levels to engage?
But the curriculum's available.
Yeah, guidebooks is.
So that link is on the
That's-
website?
But
I don't think the link is on there, not to my knowledge.
it is.
On
And
our
oh no, just type in Louisiana guidebooks. It's LouisianaBelieves.com. You can find everything.
Which that's good for guidebooks and math, Eureka's all online too, you can access those.
So maybe that would be helpful.
We're not gonna have a lesson now.
Could you have him write it in his agenda that day?
Yeah.
Lesson so and so.
Okay.
I'm getting more
That's
from
good.
is just science.
No, that's ELA.
That's ELA.
And that is very teacher-led, so it is hard for us, to- even for students that are absent, we're like, how are we gonna make up this work? Like,
But
we
they
have to
told us not to.
we have to trust
Yes.
that curriculum and everything, but,
I haven't spent
it is very
I love it.
teacher-led, and we're all learning,
No.
you know, so.
Jennifer, the LouisianaBelieves.com, is that what you said it was? Has all of the curriculum.
Louisiana believes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true, the State Department website has like, I'll just say, the State Department website has all of those links.
The
to
State
others.
Department? Okay. But maybe for our parents, it would be easy if we put it on
I
our
can add a link
website.
to the Louisiana
Yeah,
Believes,
just like,
I can
hey,
add a couple things.
You're having trouble like looking.
I'm not talking to Ms. Williams,
Can
then.
you post this stuff on
We just get
or is
papers
that
on.
not?
But my,
As far as like what lessons they're on this
Right.
week, I mean, I don't see why we can't do that, but
They should
And I
be
know
in
that
third
they
grade. They
teach
should be
us-
around lesson 35 in
Ms.
reading.
Williams is a first
You know,
year,
one
so
lesson
I'll
35.
talk to her parents to get
Because we
Each
finished
class.
36, and I think
we
there are a
have,
couple
like, our
lessons
open
behind
send me
sequence,
some
like
stuff
they,
like
they're
math,
supposed
she
to
can
be
learn in the computer,
on
she
this
learn
by the end of the
and stuff
9
like
weeks,
that.
like try to stay up, so they don't have to all be on the exact same lesson every day, but pretty close to it, you know, within
she
3 or 4
might
lessons
get
of
rushed.
each other. But I mean, if they're using Dojo or any of those other things, maybe we can just suggest that they say, hey, we're doing lessons, whatever this week. That would be an easy text that wouldn't necessarily have to be a
That's
typed up.
Do it,
Right.
Big
figure
hard
it
thing,
out,
right?
if there's a problem,
That- that would
figure
be
out what's going
Okay.
on.
So at our next meeting, we have a lady coming to speak who, I'm trying to look up her last name.
Gonzalez?
Kelly
Kelly
Gonzalez.
Yeah.
She's head of our resource center for the entire parish. She will be at our next meeting to go over what we have. And I went to a meeting last year there as a parent representative, and I was like, this is here. Like, there's a lot of information and a lot of resources that we do have. There's online tutoring that we have, and so there's more resources than we know about, you know, just generally
And-
not knowing. And so she will be here at our next meeting to talk more.
She
about
also
that.
heads up parental or
Involve-
family
yeah.
engagement,
Yeah.
so she would probably be a great person to address some of this.
And you don't have to wait till then to contact
Right.
them, you can contact them.
So the LPSS, the main website has Kelly's contact information, the resource center hours, what's available in the resource center. There's also one-on-one tutoring for free available on the website.
But how can you tutor?
So,
That's what we're saying.
Right.
The parents can't help, so how does tutoring help?
Well, they'll know what your child, the teacher will
Right.
give them the information of what they need help with. They'll give them the module and the lesson, and they'll say, this is what, you know, they'll pass on that information, and that person is qualified to be able to help.
the resource center, they're set up by subject. So if like you're struggling in ELA, there's an ELA area, and you grab it, and it'll have like there's workbooks, there's different types of books to read, there's interactive books, there's a lot of different ELA specific things, or science or math, and so and it's all set by grade because it's through the school board.
Yeah, I just want to get that
I know.
information before it comes to tutoring. Like, I want to tutor him. I mean, I can help my own child. If
Right.
I know how to help him.
And I think you just really, I think like Ms. Mercado said, just that communication with your teachers, with your student's teacher to say, what module are we on? And then if you can look it up online, which you can, then it's,
And conferences next
Yeah.
Thursday is a great place to talk about that.
unfortunately, it's after the first 9 weeks is over,
True.
but yeah, I mean.
I have a question. Is it, do all teachers use Class Dojo? Because I mean, we don't.
Not all. Some use Remind, some use email, some.
And we don't get any communication from the teachers, so I don't know how to find out, really.
I asked the teacher for her email.
Email, yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely email. I mean,
That's
I've never had a
communicate.
teacher not respond to me here, at least.
Yeah.
High school's a different world, but you know they're really good about responding to
Or call and
emails.
set up a conference with
Right.
them, have y'all did that, you know, done that yet? I just called and tried to communicate with them.
Yeah, I just asked Ms. Cloninger because I saw her at the symposium, but that was, you know, I guess we're very new, we started after the school year started, and everything seems strange to us. You know, and, yeah, we don't know how to get information back, so,
We'll call and set up a conference, I think that's probably the first step.
Yeah.
Is very good there.
yeah, we'll see how next week goes.
To set up a conference, if you don't know how to get in touch with your teacher, you call the front office.
Sure, yeah, that's what I meant.
You can send a note in
And
a folder.
all
you
of their
can-
emails should be on
all the
our
emails.
website.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are.
Find their email.
Yep.
I can double check since we got
They
a new
are.
couple people, but.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else?
have something for Miss Brandy. I'm sorry, after symposium, I had my kids write about it in their personal journals, and that's something that I usually don't even look at unless we're working on our goals together. And I had them write about symposium. And so today, since I knew I was coming, I thought it would be cute to copy a couple and give it to you to see what their view from a first grader perspective. So here's one. It says, "Today was symposium, and my favorite thing was making the robots." It was cool because the robots vibrated to move. It was a machine. And this one says, "Today was symposium, and my favorite thing to do was to take a picture in the rocket." And they had the little picture of both of them in the rocket. And here's my talented one. "Today was symposium, and this is what I did, making robots and doing hopscotch and doing the stars and doing pictures on a rocket ship and on Galaxy." And she drew everything she did. And this was hours after symposium, and just the fact that it really stuck out to them. And it was really interactive, so I wanted to give these to you whenever we're done because it was just really special.
Very nice.
I'm not pointing
gonna
that at
top
me
it?
while I'm crying, in case you were wondering.
Are you gonna top it next year?
No, next year I'm training somebody new to take over, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Big shoes
That's
to
the goal.
fill.
Just so y'all know, I was elected to be our next school board member for District 8. So I'm really excited to represent us and bring these concerns like the curriculum, to the next level. That's why I ran. I think that they need to know how we're dealing with things and just we've got to find some better solutions so we can engage and help our children. So thanks for your support and be appointed in January. So thank you.
Okay. If there's nothing else, it's 6:45, and that concludes our meeting.